What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope you are ready to try on some new makeup with me here today. I have a couple of new releases that I have not yet reviewed on my channel that I really want to share my thoughts on today. Starting off with the Suqqu Cream Foundation. This is one of my holy grail foundations, and it has been reformulated, and I feel like a lot of people are not talking about how the reformulation is different, because it is different. So I'm going to be breaking that down for you guys today. I also have right here one of my purchases from the recent Sephora sale. This is one of the newer Dior palettes called Amber Pearl, and I want to share this with you guys because this is one of the nice neutral options that you can pick up from Dior. So I'll share all of my thoughts on whether or not I think it's good. I also have the new Lisa Eldridge eyeliners. I have the new Tower 28 mascara. So if you guys want to hear all of my thoughts and hang out with me today, then keep watching. Okay, party people, let's get into it. I'm just gonna quickly clip my hair up. You guys might have noticed I am not at my house today. I'm actually traveling and I'm in an Airbnb. So apologies if the lighting is a little bit different, if the audio is a little bit different. This is all temporary. I am filming in front of a window, so we still got the natural light going here for our demos. I'm just gonna prep my skin with a little bit of the La Mer Emulsion. I recently got this in that little La Mer set that I showed you guys in my Sephora sale haul. And this is kind of like a milky, serum-y type of texture. I really, really like it. If you like the creme de la Mer, but you find that it is a little bit hard to spread on your skin, I would highly recommend just getting this, or almost getting this as like a primer to your creme de la Mer, because it makes everything go on so much more smoothly. So I'm just kind of using that as a little bit of a prep so we can get into the Suqqu Cream Foundation. So right here, friends, I have the older version of the Suqqu Cream Foundation, one of my holy grails, and then right here is the newly reformulated version. I have been looking at every single ingredient between the two of these, and I've also been doing my research on the Suqqu website, trying to figure out what is the difference between them, and I definitely have some thoughts. They are not the same. And by the way, if you are new to Suqqu as a brand, they're a luxury Japanese cosmetics company. So they have both makeup, they also have skincare, and if you live in the United States, just a quick heads up, you need to order through a UK retailer like Harrods, Selfridges, Liberty of London, that kind of a thing, because they do not sell Suqqu in the United States. So if you go looking for them at like Saks or Nordstrom or anything like that, you're not gonna find them. I am gonna link down below, friends, everywhere where you can buy the old version and the new version, just depending on maybe what you want to pick up after this demo. And I'll link my shades down below. Basically anything that I feature in this video, it's all going to be in the description box, guys. And I will list all of my shades, and do know that I use affiliate links. So shopping through my links does support my channel. I earn a small commission when you click and then purchase through the links, just full transparency. By the way, if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sophia and I love luxury beauty. I upload new videos just like this one every single week. So if you love new makeup reviews, if you love favorites videos and try-ons just like this one, then you're in the right place, my friend. Hit that subscribe button to join our fam, because we would love to have you. And with that, let's get back to the rest of the video so you can see how I create this beautiful look. Right off the bat, I think you guys can clearly see the difference between the packaging here. This is in black and gold packaging, and this comes with a frosted glass and a gold cap. Not the most travel-friendly design, I'm not gonna lie, but if you're like me, you just kind of keep this in a medicine cabinet or a makeup drawer, you're going to be just fine. The glass for this new version does make this one like a little bit weightier, so I guess that's nice. It's also easier to scoop the product out because this one is a little bit more shallow, whereas I have found that with the older packaging, you kind of have to really get in there, especially now that I only have a little bit left in this jar. I kind of have to really dig my brush in there or use a spatula to get it out. In just a second, I am going to put the old version of the formulation on this side of my face, and I'm going to put the newly reformulated version on this side. But before we do that, I am going to show you guys some swatches so you can get a sense for the texture of this foundation. So this is the original one, and this is shade 110, which is like a fair neutral. That's what I always wear for Suqqu. So you guys can see very creamy, very illuminating, kind of like medium coverage, maybe medium to buildable coverage. This foundation is so good if you're like me and you have kind of drier or dehydrated skin. It's really good if you have mature skin as well. And then this is the swatch of the new one. I don't know if it's going to be very apparent, friends, but the newer one is a little bit thicker. Like the older one feels a little bit creamier, more like skincare, more like you can sheer it out. The newer one, it's a little bit grippier. See how that's kind of like covering everything? It's slightly more full coverage. And actually taking a look at the Suqqu website, it does say here, richer texture for smoothness and refined glow. Enhanced coverage and skin adherence keeps makeup feeling comfortable for hours. And then it also says here that they added powders to enhance the lustrous finish without sacrificing richness. So it kind of seems like, friends, that what I'm experiencing here is the fact that they kind of increased the pigmentation a little bit. They kind of have taken it from something that is very creamy and rich and maybe able to be sheared out a little bit more to something that's a little bit more buildable, slightly more full coverage, and ever so slightly, okay? Not super drastically, but ever so slightly more of like a soft matte as opposed to a true cream formulation. So let's get these on my face so I can show you and you can tell me if you can see the difference. Let's start off with the old formulation. I'm just picking it here off the cap. This is the one that I feel like is a little bit more skincare-y. However, this foundation, it was never serum-y, ultra dewy. I really liked the natural finish it gave. And I also think the best part about the Suqqu Cream foundation is that it just stays refreshed on your face for hours. It doesn't cake up, it doesn't dry out. It's one of the best wearing foundations I've ever had as a dry skinned person. It's just the perfect like everyday foundation for somebody that wants kind of like that medium coverage and a really nice, fresh, natural looking complexion. So I'm just gonna blend this in. Once again, this is shade 110. I feel like between the two formulations, the shade is pretty close. Maybe slightly different, but not enough that I would change the shade, that's for sure. There's still a little bit of hyperpigmentation peeking through there, but not that much. It covers up as much as I would want a foundation to cover. Next, I'm going to go in with the reformulated version, and we are going to apply that with a different brush on this side of the face. And it's so hard to show on camera, but can you see? It's a little bit more full coverage and I have to kind of work a little bit harder to blend it out. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you're somebody that liked juicy and rich the other one was, just know this one's a little bit thicker. It might be the kind of thing where you want to go in with a serum or like a La Mer emulsion, maybe a, any other kind of primer. I really like the Tatcha Liquid Silk. Something like that helps this product glide a little bit more smoothly onto the face, because I think if you want it to be a similar finish to the old one, you just want to sheer it out a little bit more. So I'm using less product on this side because I don't want it to get cakey. I did notice when I first put this on and I kind of saw it wear throughout the day, I felt like I put too much on and it did get a little bit cakey here in my dry spots. I barely used any product for this side of the face and it covered everything. But I think the finish, it still looks similar. I think this side of the face, you can see a little bit more of that shine and glow. And then when I turn here, it's like ever so slightly a little bit more matte. So yeah, if you wanted something that was maybe a little bit more buildable than what they came out with before, then I think you're gonna like this. Also, as I mentioned, I looked at every single ingredient, guys, literally every single one. I compared them. If you're concerned about the skincare aspect of this product being different, don't worry, because the majority of the ingredients are exactly the same. There's a lot of humectants in it. There's a lot of calming and soothing ingredients. There's like a silk protein that's kind of their star ingredient. All of that is still in here. It just sounds like they added some powders to kind of help it cling to the skin a little bit better, be more long wear, and be slightly more of like that soft matte texture. And I don't know why they did that, guys. I don't know if there was maybe feedback from the community, but what I do know is a lot of brands, at least this year, they have come out with more matte formulations, more soft matte foundations. So it could just be a trend type of thing. They're a very global company as well. So keep in mind, it's not just the trends of maybe like UK, Europe, US. It could be the trends in Japan, for example. So I'm not quite sure. I'll have to reach out to one of the Suqqu reps to maybe find out a little bit more. But when I take a look at the ingredients, it's very, very similar. The only two ingredients that I noticed that were different is that in the original one, there's like a philodendron extract that is a soothing ingredient. They swapped that one out for aloe leaf extract, which is also a soothing ingredient. So I don't think you're gonna have any issues with like the skincare being different, or maybe the new one, you know, irritating your skin if you loved the original one. So here's what we're working with, friends. You can comment down below and let me know what you think. I really just wanted to share all of that because I know I've seen some people do try-ons of this foundation, but I haven't really heard anybody so far kind of break it down as to what exactly the difference is, because it is not the same foundation. It is slightly different. Next up for concealer, I'm going in with a new concealer. It came out in September. Okay, so it's still fairly new. This is the Haus Labs concealer, and this is a product that I picked up in the recent Sephora sale. So I've been testing it out for the past week or so, and so far, I really like it. I try not to put too much of this because I think if you use too much, it does get a little bit cakey. You want to shear it out. I think if you like the Haus Labs foundation, you're probably going to like the concealer because it gives a lot of nice hydration and it's also very, very glowy and reflective. See how much that blurred? It's very nice. It's very nice. Is it a must-have? Is it better than anything else I've tried recently? I wouldn't say so. It's not like a miracle worker, but I think if you need a new concealer and you're looking for something that is hydrating, that kind of gives you that full illuminating coverage, this is a good one. This is also very similar to the Dior Forever concealer that I have gone back to recently. And so this is what we're working with here, friends. I feel like you get a really smooth texture, some hydration, and like I said, a lot of blurring. I'm gonna bronze my face up real quick using the Tom Ford Soleil bronzer. This isn't new, but this is what I got today on my trip. I shared this with you guys in my recent, what month is it? October favorites, in my October favorites. So I'm just gonna apply this real quick so we can move on with the rest of these product reviews. I'm also going to apply just a little bit of the Westman Atelier face trace stick in Biscuit to kind of contour up this look. I recently finished a whole stick of these, so this is my fresh one. And I'm going to blend that in with this BK Beauty 101 brush. This brush I love to bring with me when I'm traveling because you can see it's very multi-purpose. I can use it for my foundation, I can use it for my contour, I can use it for cream bronzer, cream blush. All of those things you can use this brush for. And if you have like a little, I'll show you right here, I've got like a little Patrick Star makeup eraser, you can just clean it off on the makeup eraser in between uses and then go in with the next product. So just want to let you know, I always get questions like, what brush did you use for this or that? And sometimes I forget, guys, and I have to go back into the video and figure out what was the brush that I used. If you guys also want to see my favorite brushes for travel, like some multi-use brushes, check out my Pack With Me for Paris video because I kind of have like a whole list of brushes that I brought on that trip with me, and I always get a lot of questions about multi-purpose brushes, so I can link that video down below. Another new little goodie that I picked up in the Sephora sale is this mini Rare Beauty blush, and this is in the shade Hope. I know that this isn't a new shade, I know it's not a new product, but it's new to me. And I did promise you guys that I was going to try on some of those products that I picked up in the Sephora haul. So I think this one is going to look perfect for the look that we are creating today. And just like I said a second ago, I'm going to go in with the same BK Beauty brush and I'm going to just lightly blend that in. This is in the glowy formula from Rare Beauty. So you see how that gives a little bit of juiciness. I love it. This is the perfect travel blush because not only is it small and bitty and like fits in your little travel makeup bag, but it's kind of like that perfect neutral color that goes with everything. Somebody was asking me in the comments in one of my videos, must have been the Sephora haul, somebody was asking me, how does this compare up against the Charlotte Tilbury matte cream blush wands, which they're totally not matte. We've been through this before, but you guys were asking me, what's the difference between this one and the Pillow Talk one? I don't have that one with me right now, but just off the top of my head, I think it's a little bit peachier. The Pillow Talk one from Charlotte Tilbury, it's more of like a pinky nude. Think more of like a nude, a fleshy tone, as opposed to this peach. I would say this is a little bit closer to maybe like the Pinkgasm or the Peachgasm shade. I feel like Selena Gomez, she needs to come out with like a true nude color. She came out with Virtue, which is kind of like another type of peachy nude, but like we need an actual brown or like a light beige or a terracotta, something like that, because that's the one shade that I feel like is missing in the Rare Beauty blush lineup. But hey, I'll take this one. Actually, you know, I'll take a little bit of this because I want a little bit more blush. I'm gonna fill in my brows with the Victoria Beckham Baby Blade. This was gifted to me a while back, and this has been my favorite for the past month. I don't want to do too much. This has a very, very small little applicator, so it kind of helps me try not to overdo it with the brows. My brows are microbladed, so I don't need a ton, but there are some spots that I feel like need a little bit of shape. So I kind of just draw it in, and then I'll take the spoolie on the other side, and then I will brush it out. I don't want to spend too much time on my brows, guys, because I want to talk about the Dior palette. Okay, so here is Amber Pearl from Dior. So this is one of the newly reformulated ones, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to review this is because I know so many of us were always on the search for like the perfect neutral palette from each brand. And when I saw this one, I thought that this actually might be one of the best options. If you're looking at the whole range from Dior and you want something that's really good and soft for every day, this one really caught my eye. And it is a little bit more on the kind of warm tone side. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this soft satin shade with a chubby brush. This is the Sonia G Jumbo Blender. I really like this brush for Dior palettes because I feel like it's the best one and done brush I have in my collection. And see how it's so quick to just kind of get that satin shade all over the eye? And that could be a look. That could be a look. I really like it. This palette, as I already said, it's a little bit warm tone. So if you don't like warm tones, this isn't going to be for you. But I do like the fact that it's not super orange and super bright. It's not, you know, colorful or anything like that. I'm gonna take one of the little applicators from the palette, and I'm gonna take that same satin shade and just put it right down here. And then I'm gonna go into this shade right here, the medium tone matte. And this is a true matte, it's not a satin. So if you like that, if you like kind of the differentiation between the finishes, then you're going to enjoy this. And see how I'm saying it has a little bit of warmth, but I don't know. I don't think it's too orangey, but if you have kind of like a cool tone complexion, it might be a little bit much for you. It is quite powdery. Here, let me show you. It's quite powdery. That's what the reformulation is like, guys. It's all cornstarch based. Some of the palettes are a hit. Some of them are a mix, and spoiler alert, this one is a hit for me. I really, really like it. If you were asking me, like, what are the top 3 neutral wearable Dior eyeshadow palettes, I would say this one if you're looking for something kind of soft, daytime, warm. If you're looking for more cool tone or maybe more glam, I would say Bal Masqué. I'll link the review that I did for that palette down below. And then if you want something that's more of like those really popular pink tones that we see, I would say Rose Tool, which I also have a review of that palette and I can link it down below. I would say those are my top 3. If anybody came to me and was like, oh help, I want to get like my first Dior palette, or what's a good everyday Dior palette, I would say one of those 3 depending on your preferences. I'm gonna go back in with my little applicator into that beautiful bright center shade. And we are going to apply that to the inner corner to brighten things up. It's really mostly the matte shades in these palettes that have a little bit of like that dustiness and messiness. These satin shades, like the one that I'm applying right now, I really don't have that issue. I really mostly judge these palettes based off of the mattes and whether or not they're patchy. Like the soft cashmere one, y'all saw that review, like they kind of ruined soft cashmere. That one matte shade is patchy. It is patchy and dusty and I don't like it. So thankfully I still have the old palette. But you know what? I like Bal Masqué. Bal Masqué is really good. If you missed out on the first soft cashmere, that's going to be the one that you want to pay attention to. Next, I'm going to go into the deepest shade in the palette with this little pencil brush. This is the Refer number 26. Refer is having a sale right now on all their brushes. And I have quite a few with me here on my trip. And I love this one for kind of drawing the shape here on the outer corner. Sometimes I'll just put it here, and then other times I will kind of bring it up there. It is such a good brush for kind of like that precision on the outer V. And even if you have hooded eyes, because it's pointy, you can kind of get a little bit more precise. So this is a brush I'm definitely gonna get, I think, 2 more of these. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to get because I have all the brushes. It's just a matter of which ones do I which ones are always dirty. Those are the ones that I'm gonna end up getting in the sale. And then I got to figure out if my mom wants any new brushes as well, because I'm the one that orders them for her. This is not going to be a super smoky palette. It's not going to be super deep, which is why I'm saying this is a good kind of like everyday palette. I don't even know if this would work as a liner because it's just really not like all that deep. We're going to get a nice little layer right there. Actually, I want to go back in with the applicator into the matte shade, the lighter matte, and just put a little bit right here. I did this look yesterday and I thought it was really cute. So I'm just kind of recreating what I did yesterday. I'm just gonna blend around the edges there with a little bit of powder to kind of soften that up. And of course, the last thing that we gotta do is go into the Stunna shade right here. Now this shade worried me a little bit when I first opened up the palette. I don't know, the promo photos that you see or the photos that you see online, they never really look like the palette like how it does in real life. So when I got this, I thought, oh no, like this looks really chunky, kind of very glittery. But what I like about this shade is that, yes, it is a bit glittery. Show you the little swatch right there. It is rather glittery. However, it's in a creamy formula. Like the base of this shadow is quite creamy. So it prevents you from getting a ton of fallout, and it also lasts pretty well throughout the day. Here, let me show you what it looks like. Just kind of right there in the center of the eye. This is not like, there's some toppers from Dior that are very sheer, very dry, and it's kind of best to just like tap them on with your finger. I think using the little applicator for this one is best, or even a little brush, a little flat brush, something precise, because it has that creamy texture. And I thought for sure that I would have fallout by the end of the day yesterday, but you know what? I wore this for about 9 or 10 hours and it was fine. It's a nice little pop that kind of just blends in with the rest of the look. You kind of just want to make sure that you're tapping off this before you go in, because as you're applying it, you might get a little bit of something here and there. I like this palette. Every single shade was a win for me. You just have to like these particular tones. Next up, friends, I'm gonna apply one of the new Lisa Eldridge eyeliners. I know I'm so late on telling you guys my thoughts on these, and boy do I have some thoughts, but first let me show you the shades that I picked up. So right here I have Burnt Umber, which is a warm brown. I also have Renaissance Gold, which is kind of like a, I don't know, yeah, it's kind of like a bronzy gold. It's probably the best one if you want a very quick look. You just put on a little eyeliner, you smudge it out, you got something kind of softer. And then right here I have the dark green, which I forget the name. That one is called Night Forest. Now I want to preface this application by saying I don't really like these eyeliners. I really don't like them, and that's probably why it's taken me so long to do the review, because I never want to reach for them to test them out because I really just haven't enjoyed my experience with them. The reason why I don't really like these, friends, is because they're like too creamy. They're too creamy. They're very difficult to work with. And they were marketed as being super long wearing, and they just aren't. They're so soft and have kind of creamy. They're almost like, I don't know, let's see if I can show you here what I mean. See how these just smudge away? with my Chanel eyeliners, with my Lancome eyeliners, with my Dior Show Onstage crayons. All of those really stay put once they are set down. These do not. And it was marketed as being long wear, but unfortunately they just aren't. If you guys can see here, I put this Renaissance gold on my arm like a little while ago when I was doing work and that kind of stuff. And over the course of like 2 to 3 hours, that has completely faded. They are really not long wear. And then whenever I try and do a wing or something slightly more graphic, I really feel like I have to keep applying it and then it just blends away. So, okay, we're gonna go in with one of them, but that's why I don't like them and I just wanna be honest with you. So we're gonna go in with Burnt Umber and I'm gonna be very careful for this to not get all over the place. If you're wondering how these compare to the Victoria Beckham ones, they are similar in that they are creamy, but I think the Victoria Beckham ones have a little bit more wear and they're just a little bit easier to control. My favorite one from the Victoria Beckham line is the color Bronze, which probably matches up a little bit with the Renaissance Gold. I'm sorry I don't have the other one with me to do a comparison. I feel like these are good if you kind of almost want to use the eyeliner as eyeshadow. Like if you want to put on a whole bunch and then smoke it out, blend it out so that you have kind of like this gradient effect. I've seen Lisa Eldridge do that and it works really well for those purposes. I'm gonna use this little refer number 23 to blend it out. So see, they're not awful. You can create a really pretty look. I'm kind of just using the excess to flick it out, but they're very expensive. So I just want to be honest, I don't want you spending your money on this if you thought it was going to be super long wearing. I honestly would wait for like the Victoria Beckham Black Friday sale and I might pick up some of those. So I'm sorry, Lisa Eldridge. Do you see how it just blended away? You see this little like gap right here? That's what I'm talking about. Like, where did the shadow go? It just evaporated. Now I gotta go back in with my little brush on the actual pencil and fill in that little gap. For mascara, I'm gonna be using the Tower 28 mascara in the new brown shade, which is called Drift. I know I've used this a couple times in a couple of my recent videos, but hey guys, it's so good. I love the brown color with this type of brown toned makeup. If you want to do like the latte look, this type of mascara is perfect. See the difference between this one coat and no coat at all. It's such a good mascara. Okay, so we're almost done. I don't have a new lip product to use, but I do have one that's new to me. This is the Chanel lip gloss in Melted Honey. This is one of the ones that is in the Chanel gift set for this year, which I know they're so hard to get, but make sure guys that you are following me on Instagram because as soon as I see those things come back in stock, I definitely will let you know. I'll definitely post that out. This is just like a nice soft gold. It's just kind of like a good neutral to have in your purse to go along with these kind of like brown, more warm toned toasty looks. And here you have it, friends. This is the final look using all of the new makeup. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of the new Dior eyeshadow palette. Also let me know, did you have the same experience with the Lisa Eldridge eyeliners? I need to know. I heard some similar feedback. So let me know what you think. I'm also going to show you a close-up here in the natural light of the foundation on my skin now that it has had time to kind of sit down. I put the powder products on top. And I really think between the two of them, guys, once they settle down, they're pretty similar. They're almost indistinguishable. I really think the main difference is that the new one, it adheres to the skin a little bit more. It's a little bit more of a long wear formula. And I feel like it's a little bit more buildable. You can kind of get that full coverage if you want because it has those added powders to it. If you were to ask me which one I like better, I will be honest, I like the original one a little bit more because I think that it is slightly more hydrating. It's a little bit better for kind of a dry or mature skin. So just kind of keep that in mind, friends. They're very similar. The ingredients are almost exactly the same, but the texture and the application experience is a little bit different. If you like this video, friends, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And if you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel because I upload new videos and luxury beauty reviews just like this one every single week. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.